And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to season 2 of the Loves Gymnastics podcast, brought to you by the Loves Gymnastics Network, brought to you by the creator of this, Michaela Loves Gymnastics, and her co-host, Oscar, aka Gymnastics Saves Lives, Miss Shayna, and Ezra. And together, we bring you the Loves Gymnastics podcast. Season 2 begins now. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. We love and appreciate you. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, bring more people into the community. It's NCAA 2025 time. Let's go, girls! And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Welcome back to my channel, Michaela Loves Gymnastics. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Loves Gymnastics podcast with Michaela Loves Gymnastics, Oscar, Shayna, and Ezra. Today, I decided to do a solo show just so we can have a show done on Monday. The girls are still on vacation. Oscar is still on vacation. Shayna is currently working 2 jobs right now, so mama is dead, tired, and busy. Ezra is doing Ezra-like things. So I want to get on and talk about the Week 10 recap. Now, of course, me being all by myself, it might be some trans topics. It might be some other things that we want to get into. But there was so much gymnastics that happened this weekend that I just wanted to give a show today. So we're doing the water story today because I feel kind of sick. And if I feel like I hit my vape, I would die on camera. Hold on. Water story. So, let's get into the meat and potatoes of what happened. First of all, let's talk about Italy. We had Baku World Cup that happened. We also had the Gymnasts World Cup. I mean, I don't think it's World Cup. The Gymnasts competition that happens in Canada every year. Now, I'm not going to lie to you all. I don't know very much about what happened at Gymnasts. I know Kalia Newmore won the all-around for the senior women. I know her bar routine is on the internet. Have I even looked at it? No. Had I really paid that competition any attention? No. So I don't know what happened with Gymnasts. So, call me a bad gymnastics blogger or whatever, but I have no clue what happened at Gymnasts. So we're not even going to talk about Gymnasts. We're just going to skedaddle past and go to Baku. Now, Baku was a very interesting competition. And I know we had Kabis earlier on, but for whatever reason, Baku just made more sense to me, if that makes sense to anybody, which it probably doesn't. Baku just was more entertaining for no real reason. One of the things that I do see with Baku is help watching Baku kind of helped me with this cycle's code of points. Watch because Kabe seemed like the scores to me were a little bit high. Water story. Where Kabe's, I'm so sorry, with Baku, they took everything down a little bit. And one of the things that I really noticed was that change with vault. I noticed that at Kabe's, but I noticed it a lot with Baku. And for those who don't know, the women's rules, there's two new rules to vault, really. You remember how in event finals, you had to do 2 different vaults from 2 different families, right? But some of the families was kind of merged together where it was like, okay, yes, you could do a Tsukahara double twist and a Yurchenko double twist, and technically they're from 2 separate families, but you're doing the same amount of twist in the air, and that's not allowed. Well, the FIG said, well, you know what? That's kind of dumb. So as long as the vaults are from 2 separate families, even if they're doing the same amount of twist in the air, they can do it. So at Baku, you saw doing Yurchenko fulls and attempting Tsukahara fulls. And I can imagine at a world or elite level, especially at this upcoming World Championships, I see why for families, no matter the values, there's a 2/10 bonus. And your Yurchenko double and the Horkina, Pocopaeva, Lopez style of vaults are now considered 2 separate forward entry, backwards entry, working on getting these 2 bonus. So that's why you see so many of the American girls for the men, forgive the cough. Y'all see, I'm not even smoking. This is because I'm sick. Let me get a cough drop. 1 second. For the men, there was always stick bonus. I guess it separated into international that on all events. But if the men stick their, they get a 1/10 bonus. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I don't think it's necessarily a good thing. I'm so sorry, everybody. Like I was saying, I'm not sure how I feel about that. At the end of each, okay, and it doesn't make sense for me on floor because you do for landings on floor. So shouldn't you be able to get up to, well, the men do up to 5 to 6 tumbling passes. So, should the men get a 10th of a point bonus for each tumbling pass they stick? I'm not sure how I feel about this. Does it a pommel horse or don't most people stick their pommel horse dismounts? I don't know. But those were the two major changes that I saw. The men getting a 10th of a point bonus for stuck landings. And the change to the women's code of points when it comes to the vault in the event finals. You still have to do 2 different vaults from 2 different families, but you can do the same number of twists in the air. So now you can do like I guess in theory, you could do a Chung and a Rudy. Or you could do a Yurchenko double and a Sukahara double. Or you can do a Lopez and McIntosh play out front, which Ellie Black does. It's just if you do 2 separate vaults from 2 separate families, such as an Almanar and a Chung, you also get 2/10 of a point bonus to your score. Think they keep the bonus system. I don't dislike the bonus system in gymnastics. If this is where we're going, I do like it because they do have it in figure skating. I think you should get bonus for your difficulty. So if you're doing, let's say like on floor, we're talking about the women now. If you're doing 4 tumbling passes and 3 of the 4 tumbling passes are E or higher, I think that should be maybe 4/10 bonus. On uneven bars, if you're doing 2 F release moves, maybe you get a difficulty bonus of a 0.2. I don't know. But I do like the bonus system. Maybe that's how we encourage the bonus encourage difficulty without taking away from the artistry. We just give bonus for people who can do harder things. Instead of encouraging it to artistry. So I like that. I like that very so much. On floor, I noticed and it is Baku, so I'm not sure if it's an indication from later on in the season, but oh, excuse me. You do feel like on floor involved. The girls are taking a step back, trying Yurchenko doubles, and we've seen a lot more Yurchenko 1.5s. I'm not sure if it's just because they're worth basically the same in start value. Not really. The Yurchenko double is worth 4/10 more, but maybe it's just not worth it. I'm not sure. We see a lot less tumbling passes. See a lot of double tucks, 2.5 twists, handspring double twist in front, and double pipes. So I don't know. Just seems like we're taking a step back in difficulty. So let's move on to the NCAA children, and then we can get off of here. This is just a mini episode to warm y'all waters until we get back to the full show. So we're gonna do the SEC where they're rated at in the SEC as of now. And I'm gonna tell y'all my opinions. As of right now, the number 9th team in the SEC is Arkansas. Their current NQS is a 196.775. The highest 3 scores are a 197.05, a 196.400, and a 196.25. Their other NQS scores, the score that's getting dropped because it's their highest, is a 197.425, a 197.175. Oh, I'm so sorry. The highest 3 road scores. These are the highest 3 home scores. And a 197.105. Their average score is a 197.013. Their highest possible placement at the end of the season could be 7th, but right now they're in 9th. They have 1 home meet remaining. We have number 8 is Alabama, who I believe should be in 9th place, but whatever. Their NQS is 196.940. Their highest 3 road scores are a 197.65, which is the score they're dropping, a 196.75, and a 196.575. Their 3 home scores that are counting are 197.35, a 197.075, and another 197.25. So this is what Alabama has over Arkansas from what I'm seeing. Even when they're losing with higher scores than Arkansas are with winning, which to me is meaningless. To the NCAA means a lot. So there's that. Hey, Urza. Sure, Urza, you can jump on. It's the same link that we always have. It's in the chat. I would love it if you jump on, actually. So we're waiting for Urza to get on, and then we can continue. But yeah, I don't feel like just because you lose with a higher score than I won with, I think me winning the meet should mean more than you scoring a higher score than me. Okay, that's cool. You was at a you was at Florida and Florida scored a 198 something. So you lost at a 197. Great. They was giving big scores. I had Arkansas beat LSU. Arkansas beat Florida at home. Yeah, but I still did it. So I think that means more. Again, the NCAA don't feel that way. But that's how I feel. That's why I'm going to take some drugs in front of y'all. Some cold medication drugs. Okay. Let me put the link in the chat. So, the link is right there to Urza if you can't find it. So, okay, I'm so sorry. So their average locked in score is oh, that doesn't matter to me. Their highest possible ranking, they could move up to 4th. But they could drop all the way down to 9th. And they still have 3 meets left, 1 home and 2 away meets, which is strange. And number 7th, we have Auburn. Their current NQS is a 196.965. Their highest 3, again, Auburn highest score is their road score, which is a 197.75, a 196.825, and a 196.775. Their 3 highest home scores are a 197.3, a 197.025, and a 196.900. They have a possibility of moving all the way up to 5th place or dropping as low as 9th place. They have 1 home meet and 1 road meet left in the season. Then we have at number 6, which is Georgia. Georgia is the first team that we're talking about who current NQS is a 197, which is really surprising. No tea, no shade. We didn't expect Georgia to do this good this season. At the beginning of the season, a lot of us on the podcast was putting Georgia in last place. Kudos to you, Georgia. Kudos to you. Their NQS currently is a 197.065. Their highest 3 scores are a 197.35, a 197.25, and a 196.825. They're dropping to 197.35. Their 3 home scores is a 197.25, a 197.125, and a 196.975. Now with Georgia, they're almost a lot to make it to SECs because their highest possible ranking, they could move up another spot to 5th place, but they can't drop to 9th place. They can only drop as low as 8th place. So I think they're basically a lot to make it to SECs at this point. Do I hear Urza? Am I being a bad co-host? No. Nisha, you did have Arkansas last since the beginning of the season. You truly did, sis. I can't say shit to that, but that's facts. Okay. And number 5, we have Kentucky. There go Urza.
Hey.
Hey, how are you doing, boo?
I'm great. How are you? How was the trip?
I'm okay. It was cool. It was cool.
Okay.
I just have a little hair cold, but I'm okay other than that.
Love that.
Did you pay attention to much gymnastics this weekend?
Actually, I did get to glance over the meets for the first time in a 2 week span. So I'm happy with that.
Okay, cool. Right now, I'm just giving them their SEC rankings, and we just talk about it as we go along.
Okay.
So at number 5, okay, so let me go back so they have Arkansas at number 9.
Yes.
They have Alabama at number 8.
A little high.
They have Auburn at number 7.
Okay.
They have Georgia at number. Wow. They have Georgia at number 6.
Okay.
Kentucky is the 5th school in the SEC.
As they should be.
They have their NQS right now is a 197.085. Their 3 highest scores on the road is a 197.225, a 197.150, and a 196.800. Now, what saved Kentucky is their home scores. Their 3 home scores is a 197.300, a 197.175, and a 197.1075, and they're dropping to 197.300. Their highest possible ranking at the end of the season is where they're at now, 5th. Their lowest possible ranking is 8th. So I think Kentucky is another team that is guaranteed to make it to the SEC.
Yes, they are guaranteed.
Our number 4th ranked team is Missouri. My Bulls.
Of course. Yes.
Now, Missouri, in my opinion, should be ranked higher than Florida, but Florida's my team, so I'm not going to do it like them. Their current NQS is a 197.230. Now, this is my issues with Missouri and what we're talking about. Scores they are throwing out. Missouri had a 190, which was a road score for them. They had a 197.200 and a 197.175. Clearly, they're dropping this 197.725. Now, at home, they had a 197.425, a 197.200, and a 197.150. So right now, they're the only team that we talked about here. All 6 scores, their is 197 or higher. Say that thus far. Missouri is absolutely surprising. Which is kind of surprising. Missouri is absolutely a lot to make it to the SEC. They're absolutely a lot to make it to the evening section.
Yes.
Now, with the NQS and the way it works, their highest possible ranking is 4th. So they're saying that Missouri cannot be ranked higher than Florida at this point in the season. Their lowest possible ranking is 5th. And they still have 2 meets left, 1 home and 1 road meet.
They have 2 meets? Wow. I really thought we were at conference championships right now.
No, it's 2 weeks left, and Alabama is going to have to do a double or another one because they have 3 meets left.
So will Alabama be going on the road or staying at home?
They have 1 home meet and 2 road meets.
Oh, they're going to get beat up.
Now we have Miss Florida, my team, the Gators. Now the Gators have some extraordinarily high scores. The highest scores that we are going to talk about at this point in time. Me as a Florida Gators fan, though, I'm going to acknowledge that I do not agree with a lot of these scores. And this is why I don't like NQS. But
I mean, come on now. Not even OU themselves have been getting scored that high. I mean, they've been scored at, but they compete to get scored that high. Oh, Florida has not been given routines that should have been in the 198s so early on in the season, and it's ridiculous.
Florida has their three highest road scores of 197, 575, a 197, 450, and a 196, 625. So even Florida, unlike Missouri, is counting a 196 in their NQS so far. Missouri is the only team thus far to count all 197s plus. Now, what has Florida so high is their home score.
198. Those 198.
They have a 198, 125, which is this is the first team that we're talking about a 198 now. That's clearly the score they're dropping. But guess what? They have another score of a 198, 125. And a 197, 625. So they have incredibly high home scores.
And if those scores were to get dropped to decent scorings, they would drop from third to presumably fifth.
But I think their 198 that they got this weekend was fair. I think they deserved that one. I think they really did a great job this weekend. Yes.
I always look at Florida's home scoring a little sideways, but if they would either way score that high,
you have to. But I will admit, this is one of their better meets this weekend, and it was. Okay. Wait, they didn't have a home meet this weekend. They were at their where were they at? They were at Alabama. So yeah, I wonder where they scored this weekend.
Absolutely.
So yeah, one of them 198 scores, both of them 198 scores was bullshit because that wasn't this weekend. So you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. So they have also 2 meets left, 1 home and 1 road meet. They can move up to second, but right now they're ranked at third, and that's as low as they possibly can go. So
yes,
they're definitely going to the SEC championships. They're going definitely to that session. At number 2, we have LSU.
Which, I mean, a little low for the LSU.
And to be honest, LSU, me looking at their scores, wow, they have some humongous scores. I mean, and these are scores that, okay, we could say they were a little bit overscored in some meets, but I think in general, we can all agree that they earned these scores. Their current
NQS
is very well this season as a team. Their current NQS is a 197, 710. Their 3 highest road scores. Now, the score they're dropping is a 198, 125 as well. They have a 197, 625 and a 197, 300. Their 3 home scores that they are counting now is a 198, 050, a 198 even, and a 197, 550. And for them, just like Florida, their highest possible ranking is second, their lowest possible ranking is third. So basically, LSU and Florida could possibly switch spots, but it's not likely.
It's not going to happen, in my opinion.
Me either. And just like everybody else, they have one home meet left and 1 road meet left.
Mm-hmm.
And the winners of this competition so far is Oklahoma, who current NQS is a 197.9.125. So they're the closest team whose NQS is a 198. And they have the least amount of 198 scores in this thing. It's just Oklahoma scores very high 197s all the time.
All the time.
Their three scores, the scores they are counting now are a 198.0550, a 197.950, and a 197.925. The scores that their home scores and the first score that they're dropping is a 198.075, a 197.825, and another 198.825. So Oklahoma is the only team that their away scores are actually higher than their home scores.
Which is which just shows their talent.
They're in first place. They cannot drop lower than first place. Can't no team touch them this season in the SEC. Oklahoma is definitely going to the championships.
Will they win? We will see.
How do you feel about especially the lower level rankings? Because I think, 1 through 4, I think it's pretty much in agreement for everybody, but it's that damn Arkansas, Auburn, Alabama that I just don't agree. I strongly don't agree.
I don't think if we're talking about who deserves the 8th spot more, I think Arkansas should get it over Alabama. I think Alabama has not won anything at all this season big. Arkansas upsetted LSU by a lot. Well, not by a lot, but like by a good set. And Auburn has been consistent all year. So I think they deserve to be in it. And I just don't think Alabama deserves to be in it.
I agree. I hear the logic. I am mature enough to understand that even when Alabama loses, they still lose with a higher score than Arkansas wins with.
Yes.
I can completely mentally understand that. It's just they're still losing. So why should that matter? Now, let's go on to the overall ranking of.
Yes.
And I can share my screen for this. Give me 1 second, folks. So overall, in the NCAA, one team in the entire well, I'm not doing it. I'm just going to go 20 up.
Yes.
So if I'm skipping every team, they were below 20. So I guess I have to do 36 here. So we're gonna go the first half real fast. So keep up with me because I'm not going into details. Yes. We have George Washington. Congratulations to y'all. We have Townsend. We have Central Michigan. We have Maryland. We have Iowa. We have
low for them.
At 30th, we have Ohio State. At 29th, we have Boise State.
Ohio State.
Penn State. Illinois is at 26. Arizona State. North Carolina, congratulations to y'all. That's very good for y'all at 24. Ohio State. Arizona, congratulations to y'all being 22nd. Southern Utah is at 21st. I know nothing about y'all teams, but congratulations. North Carolina State, congratulations to y'all at 20th. Y'all are having an amazing season in the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
Nebraska is at excuse me. Nebraska is at 19th. Denver is at 18th. Michigan, girl, 17th. Arkansas,
16th.
Minnesota is 15th. Minnesota, you're not having a bad season. That's not a bad. I wouldn't say 15th is a bad ranking for y'all. Alabama is over here at 14th. Auburn is at 13th. Stanford is clearing both of them girls at 12th. Oregon State, y'all done dropped a little bit at 11th.
They did.
Georgia is 10th in the country right now. You better work.
Clock it, Georgia.
You better work. But Kentucky State, girl, kiss my ass because I'm number 9.
That's a low for No,
Michigan, I think that's about right. Michigan State, though, is at number 8.
Which is low for them.
Yeah.
Which I have expectations.
Watching their meets, they have a great vaulting team. Bars and beam is not their event, though. They're great vaulters, great floor workers. Bars and beam, though, is the areas that set them back, though. Kind of like Missouri, but Missouri is slightly better than them. So I agree with Missouri being at 7. By a lot, in my opinion, too. Their scores don't reflect it, but I think Missouri is one of the most underscored teams in the country. California, aka Cal, aka Berkeley, is number 6. Utah. I haven't been paying attention to you girls very much all this season. Is at number 5.
Utah, even though I may hate on them, they're always in the top 8, no matter what. They'll always be in the top 8. I mean, congratulations to them.
The Selena Harris of it all. Selena Harris' current team is at number 4. Selena Harris' former team is at number 3.
As we should.
LSU.
Number 2.
Y'all, no lie. I made this joke in the group chat, so I'll do it here. UCLA, they kind of nibbling this season, child. They kind of eating it up. They kind of doing something.
They figure out what that lineups are.
They need to learn how to vault, but they doing it.
They have the faults. They need to land them.
At number 2 is clearly LSU. And at number 1 is clearly Oklahoma. Let's see teams that we don't normally talk about because we always talk about California is having a good season.
I'm not
They're not having the kind of they had last year, but they're having an okay season.
I'm just not impressed. Other than Maya Dawn, I'm not impressed. And MJ, I'm not impressed by Cal.
Michigan State, I said what I had to say about them earlier. They're okay. Oregon State, I'm so sorry. Jay carried that vault should have been a 10. That vault should have been a 10. That was one of the most perfect Yurchenko 1.5s that I've ever seen.
I used to go
That ball
watch
should
it.
have been
I
a
did
10.
not see it. Stanford.
Stanford, you doing a little something over there?
They
You
doing
doing a little
something.
something over there, girl.
I like the
You doing a little
gymnastics. They're consistent.
right now, Urza. If you had to pick, who would be your 4 on the floor?
Okay, here we go. Okay, assured spots. OU, LSU. Can I do a top 8 and then go down to the final 4 on floor? Okay. Top 8,
Sure.
OU, LSU, UCLA, Utah, Florida, Missouri, Cal, and Michigan State. I'm taking out Michigan State, Missouri. I'm taking out California, and I'm gonna leave. And I'm gonna take out. I'm gonna take out. Come on. I'm gonna take out few. Hold on, let me think. It's between Utah and Florida for that last.
I agree.
But I've seen Florida. I'll give it to Florida, but do not be shocked if it's Utah. Do not be shocked at all. So final 4 would be OU. For me, it would be OU, LSU, UCLA, and Florida. With Utah being right there.
I 100% agree. That's what it seemed like it is. That's what the judges are trying to tell us they want to see. Every week, those are the 4 teams that everybody's complaining about how high their scores are. How do you feel that Shea Campbell used her freshman routine as
I love
her
it. I
final
love it.
routine in the?
I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed myself last night. I refused to watch her floor team, her this year's floor team, but it brought me joy to see her bring her back her old floor team, which was her best. No, which was one of her best in my opinion. But I really glad to see it, and I hope she sticks with it for the rest of the season. But I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't.
I feel like something else really big happened this weekend.
NCAA or Elite?
NCAA.
Okay.
I know Oscar isn't here to defend himself, so I don't want to, I'll wait till Oscar gets back to talk about that. Damn, something happened. Oh my god, I can't remember. Whatever, we'll talk about it next time if I ever think about it. It wasn't that important, bro. Olivia Dunn. Olivia Dunn is out for the rest of the season.
Yes.
She missed her senior before it gagged across the world. It was lots of senior nights around the NCAA. Lots of girls. This was her last home meet.
5 years.
Did you get to see any of Baku?
Baku? No, I didn't.
It's all on Addict's Twitter for free whenever you get a chance.
No, because it was so early in the morning. I just couldn't. I couldn't get up.
I understand.
But congratulations
I
to
don't
them.
know what. Congratulations to them people. Al Troutwood died. We never talked about that, but yeah, he passed away. R.I.P. to him.
Rest in peace.
One. Osana Chusevitsina won vault at Baku, making her the definitely oldest person to ever win a women's gymnastics World Cup.
By a lot, I assume.
Definitely. By a lot.
Yes.
One of the things, I think I talked about this earlier, but I just want to ask you about it, is with women's vault finals, now the girls can do, like, okay, you remember how, like, you couldn't do a Yurchenko double and a Sukahara double because you were doing the same amount of twists in the air. But now you can do it because I saw a lot of girls doing a Yurchenko full, and then the girl would attempt a Sukahara full. So on the elite scene, I can see a lot of girls trying a Yurchenko double and a double as their two vaults. But if you do two vaults with two different entries, so like you're doing a forward entry and a backwards entry,
yes,
you'll get a bonus instead of so you'll get a 2 bonus. So let's say you do an Aminar and a Chung, you will get a 2-tip bonus because you're doing a forward vault and a backwards vault. How do you feel about that? I kind of like it. I think
I like it.
I think they should incorporate. I think they should incorporate difficulty bonus throughout all the events.
Yes.
Encourage the girls to do difficulty without making it part of the code of points.
And without forcing them to break their ankles. Make it, yeah.
Correct. Speaking of breaking ankles, one of the rules that I noticed on the men's side, now I don't pay attention to the men like that, but I did notice this, that there is a stick bonus implemented through all the events for the men. So the men stick their dismounts on all 6 events, there's a 1/10 bonus. How do you feel about that?
Is that domestic or actual for like all around meets for the men?
I think it's all around because they were doing it at Baku.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's a new rule.
Clock it. I like that's different. Very different. Sticking all of
I like it. I just feel like
I don't think
I like it. I just feel like
Go ahead.
I just feel like on floor. I'm so sorry. No, I just was saying on floor. I think you should be able to get that bonus for every tunnel pass, not just for the last tunnel pass. Because you have to stick every pass for the men. So if a man do 5 tunnel passes, he should be able to. And that will also encourage the men to do 5 or 6 tunnel passes because you can get a 10th of a point bonus on each pass now.
Stick those passes.
And a good thing for this week, we didn't get a lot of injuries. I think we got a few injuries, but it wasn't like it was a couple of weeks ago when like it seemed like everybody was tearing their Achilles.
Yeah, everyone Achilles was gone. How do you feel about Charlotte Booth and then her career? Well, elite career with her Achilles.
She's going to Auburn?
Yes.
I mean, I think if she was ever going to make a world's team, it was going to be this one for GB. Yeah. So
I liked how they were sending her to the World Cups to do three events. I liked it. They were clearly setting her up.
Damn, that double.
Those tender Achilles.
That double. Ooh.
And the landing didn't look bad. It looked like a normal landing, like when you're out of it. But Hercules, I guess. She had to. I think she injured it on a pass or leap before that. Then.
It seemed like to me watching it when I saw it, because I only watched it one time, it seemed like it was the round off in the back handspring, because even her round off and back handspring was kind of wonky. Anything else you want to talk about before we get off? This wasn't supposed to be a very long show, so it's been an hour, so I feel like this is perfect. Anything else that you want to talk about? Anything that we missed over the last 2 weeks? Anything that maybe I forgot about? Hey Shayna, how you doing?
Oh my god, I thought my mic. I have my mic on mute. I was talking for the last.
Oh wow!
I was talking. My mouth was running.
What was you saying? I'm so sorry.
No, I was saying, yeah, it looked like she did not injure it on that. The tumbling passes, it looked like she crunched it on the round off, and then she couldn't land the pass.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was to land it. And she wasn't doing anything difficult for it to be a bad like that. Like she clearly had that in practice for the landing to be so easy for her to injure it.
Hey.
Hey, Shayna.
Oh, I feel like I haven't seen y'all or talked to y'all in so long.
Yes. It's been 3 weeks. So.
I know.
It's been that long. It has been a busy 3 weeks.
Yes.
I didn't even know a show was happening until I got a notification saying Michaela Loves Gymnastics was on. But I missed everything, so I don't know what has been talked about.
I just hopped on YouTube and I saw my students by itself, so I jumped on.
Oh yeah, I was just talking, child. I was just.
I see your.
Basically, I was even giving
that Elita's back in session.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I am like. Okay, I love the NCAA. I do. It's just the level of difficulty now, and then especially when I watch older meets, I just can't even. It's just so much less. Like
I'm not.
The girls are literally.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all. This season, I was so psyched for it, but like you said, as the season has progressed, I don't know. Maybe because my life has changed and I'm a lot busier now, and I'm tired, so I don't go back and watch meets anymore like I used to. Like I used to would just go back and watch some of the meets. Like I still haven't watched Missouri with their program because I've been so busy. I watched a couple of the UCLA, the first 2 rotations, and then I was bored out of my mind. And I was like, it's not high scoring. Let me do something productive so I can get ready for my first day at work, which I did today. At my new job. So yeah, the difficulty. I'm not even complaining because scoring is going to be scoring. I don't see them having no kind of fix for that. But you are right. The difficulty is so repetitive now, and
it's so.
You know,
I was watching. I'm so sorry to cut you off. I was
crazy. I still have not watched.
I was rewatching. When what's the young lady name? Borman. When it's not Alicia. It's Alexis from Florida. Okay, I can't remember her name, but
Alicia Boren.
For her whole 4 years.
Alicia Boren.
She's not the black girl, the white girl who had the sister who eventually went to Florida. She was an elite gymnast. She made the 2012 trial. No. She was on the 2016 2016 track to make trials, but then tore her arm up.
Rachel Bauman.
Rachel.
She was a 26.
But she had a sister,
Florida gymnast.
She had an older sister,
Alyssa.
You're right with the Rachel Bauman.
Alyssa
Bauman. There we go. Alyssa Bauman. Thank you. We finally got there.
Uh-huh.
But I was rewatching some of her routines, right, and how they was reading her down because she was opening her routine with a double tuck, ending her routine with a double pike, and doing like a 1.5 front layout as her middle pass. And they used to read her routine down every week for having lack of difficulty. And the reason she won't ever get a 10 is because she won't throw her double layout. And I'm just going back and watching those routines, because for her whole 4 years, she always just opened with a double tuck. I think she did a double layout once and went out of bounds and never did it again.
Oh. I mean, Alyssa, but Alyssa didn't need the double A. I now remember she started with the double tuck. She would do the round off 1.5 to the Connor McClain last pass, the 1.5 to full. She didn't do her 1.5 to layout. She did a 1.5 to full, and then she did the double pike at the end. But her musicality was great. She was a great dancer. Her leaps were. Her and Sarah Finnegan during that era had the best leaps. She didn't need the double A.
But I'm just saying that they used to read her routine down for having a lack of difficulty. And she was the anchor because she didn't do an E tumbling pass. And now, nobody does an E tumbling pass. And they just do 2 tumbling passes and some bullshit. And it's
no. Except for LSU. LSU does the E-passes.
LSU do E-passes.
They do.
Florida have a couple of E-passes.
LSU, I don't like LSU's music this year either. You know? And I watched a little bit of the Oklahoma stuff, and people like they're just so different. And the KJ Kimler is a beast for choreography. They are boring to me, with the exception the last girl, Jordan Bowers. Maybe a little bit of Elle Mueller. But just because you're weird and different doesn't mean it's just so great and spectacular. No. I'm sorry. It's been a no for me. I'm sorry. People are still doing your Chinko Fools, scoring 9 7s and wondering why the sport is not what it should be.
But see, and that's the issue. I don't mind them getting 9 7s on your Chinko Fools. It's the your Chinko 1.5s that are tucked around, that are sloppy, that are scoring 9.95s. Then you have Jade Carey, who does a perfect your Chinko 1.5 this weekend and does not get a 10. And then you'd be like, but I mean, it literally was perfect.
Did you see the LSU vaults? It was like they were stuck on 9.95s when I didn't see many deductions. Yeah, Leah could have been a little more higher, but Amari's and Kaylin's, those were 10s to me. So it's like Jade has dynamics and good block, but Jade has like a little knee bend in her twist.
Not in this one.
It wasn't in this one.
No. It was so good. I feel like.
But then y'all gave Victoria. But then it's like the scoring is not consistent because then, 2 weekends ago when Selena got her 10, she had no distance. It could have been higher. And then they gave Victoria Nguyen a 9.975, and that was god awful. So it's just everyone's doing the same 2-3 skills on bars, the same cookie cutter beam shit.
See, for whatever reason, bars don't bother me as much as floor does. Even beam is the event that is probably the most difficulty.
Aren't you tired of these people wanting to have discounts though?
No, because this year more people are doing like bat dives and other stuff. There's more variety on being dismounts this year compared to other years. Like more people are doing double twists. A lot of people are doing your chicken or dismounted with 1.5 still, yeah, but it's not as bad as it used to be. I prefer the 1.5s over that damn free cartwheel bat layout full that everybody was doing a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Or they were doing their series into a goddamn what they were doing, the aerials, the back layout to layout full dismount. That one was the real popular one. Did you do like a SEC ranking, or you stopped doing them once you found out about how they were making it to the championship?
No, I just told the people exactly the rankings, exactly the NQS and everything. So I have no opinions. The only thing that I disagree with is
I was because I watched the first two. It's just like I'm not fully, if it's not LSU, don't be fully invested in like the whole meat of people. I don't know why I've gotten like that this season. But I did watch the meet before, well, part of the meet before LSU, but like, who is that? Alabama, Cal, Michigan State. Alabama was
I so missed that, and I was so looking forward to it, but I missed that.
It was like I was like, Alabama is on beam, like putting it together, and then when I look back, like they doing terrible on floor, and then they end up third. So it's like when you look at the rankings with the SEC, I don't still see it for them, even though Arkansas is a little bit behind them. It's just I've never been gung ho on Alabama this year. So and then
when we were actually talking about it and going down the scores, the reason why Alabama, because they have a potential, because they still have 3 meets left where everybody else still have 2. So they have a chance to replace 3 scores where everybody else only has a chance to replace 2 scores.
What you mean?
Alabama
I thought this week is the last week of the regular season.
They have 2 weeks left, and Alabama has to do a double week somewhere because somehow they're missing a week compared to everybody else.
They had Alabama had a bye week, but I think this week coming up is because LSU only goes to Arkansas and to Auburn, and that's their last meet until SECs.
LSU has 2 meets left this season. They have a home meet and they have an away meet.
No, the home meet from this past Friday was their last home meet. It was senior night.
Baby. Let me show you.
This was their senior night. Yes, it was. Because Alona Chenikova she did an exhibition routine. It was like this is their last time in the PMAC for all 10 seniors. This is the last week of the regular season. Alabama might have 2 meets this weekend.
Does conference championship count as a meet?
No, because that's how the rankings of the SEC are. It's counting for them to use it for the NQS for as it relates to the regionals. But I was just talking about the SECs.
I hear what you're saying. Can y'all see my screen?
Yeah.
Can y'all see what I'm sharing?
I see Missouri.
It literally says, number 2, LSU. They currently have, this is their NQS. These are the scores they're counting. Mm-hmm. This is their average score. And meets remaining. They have 1 home meet and 1 road meet.
When was that though? When was that put out?
March 7th.
I don't think that's right. I think LSU only has one more meet left.
It was March 7th. Was that Friday? Because if it was Friday, then that made sense.
Yeah. So if that was before the meet Friday, then they only have one. Yeah, because this weekend is what, the 14th? SEC championships are the 22nd.
Be week 11th. And then the next week would be week 12. So yeah. So Shayna, while I have you here, is there anything that you want to talk about? Anything that happened over the last few weeks that because if not, for to get off and go to sleep and get ready to go to work tonight.
I was just kind of curious on how the elite season is going, because I'm still supposed to be going to nationals this year.
Elite season is cool. I mean, nothing major happened. I mean, Baku, the Americans don't send women to Baku, so. But the USA men won pommel horse, the gold and silver on pommel horse. I was just saying,
I always have my love for gymnastics, and I'll be so invested with the school stuff because I've been a fan of gymnastics for all these years, and then I live in Baton Rouge. I've always been affiliated with LSU. Now I'm a student at LSU, so I always have say I'll have that love for the sport, but I really have not just been in it for gymnastics. And to try to add, elite around it when I totally don't understand values, point systems, scoring. It just hasn't done nothing for me. I'm so sorry.
It means like that, and plus it's the beginning of the season. Well, I mean, it's the beginning of the elite season. NCAA season is almost over with. It get better when bigger competitions happen. Baku, Kabis, they're not really big competitions, so when Europeans start and national champions start and Chinese championships start, they get better.
That's when we get to see some good shit, huh?
Yeah.
So Alabama goes to Michigan. They're not going to score well over there.
And they have to have another. They must have to have 2 meets this weekend because they have 3 meets.
I'm looking on their schedule now. They only have 1 left.
Oh, they did 2 this weekend. That's why. Okay, so yeah, they have 1 left.
And they didn't go. They did. And the thing is LSU can move up to number 1 if they score really well. So, I still feel like LSU is better than Oklahoma. The rankings might not say that, but I feel like LSU is better than Oklahoma, and I feel like Arkansas is better than Alabama. But it's close. And then you got Auburn, who lost. Like, did you talk about all the Achilles injuries that are happening?
Yeah, we talked about that.
That's crazy. They best gymnast is out, so I don't see much Arkansas. I see Auburn not making a run at nationals like I thought they would. It's just unfortunate. This season has just really been a dud to me. I'm sorry. And then I like have high hopes, as Urza. I'm not trying to talk about your Bruins, but it's just like I haven't been impressed with them the last couple weeks.
Really? I mean, UCLA has been the only thing that's keeping me interested in NCAA gymnastics. I mean,
is what their floor routines.
Just a little fight for the little conference
Because
over
they're
there.
not really that. They still not good enough on vault, and their bars is wishy washy.
To me, they're the most entertaining team in the NCAA.
You got Missouri over here. They coming.
Yeah. I just don't think Missouri has enough.
They don't have enough oomph.
It's not that they don't have enough depth. It's just they don't have. They have a good, other than vault, they have a good 4 through 1 lineup, but their first, second, and third gymnasts are always kind of
That's how I feel about, look, some teams are just really bad. And you would think after last season, how those teams ended, that this season they would be on the come up. But it's like they have regressed. Teams to mention: Denver, terrible. Michigan, terrible. Iowa State, Iowa, they're all terrible. Compared to Ohio State, regressed. I understand injuries and things like that play a part in it, and I know the scoring has been this or that, but the scoring is still outrageous. Aaliyah Finnegan scored a goddamn 10 with a out of bounds double goddamn step, and one of the judges gave her a 10, and the other gave her a 9.95. They need their license revoked. So it's just a combination of just the lack of diversity across the board, the lack of difficulty across the board, the inconsistency in the judging across the board, the high amount of Achilles and other type of injuries. I don't know. We're in a real precarious spot, and I don't normally feel like that with NCAA.
Yeah, it's been building up for a while. For me, it is, and I hate to put it like this, but I'm going to put it like this: I'm not going to say they listen too much to the athletes. It's just.
I mean, you got to look at it. The NBA, the NFL, the MLB, they have players associations and all that, but those owners and the organizations, people, they dictate all of that, and that's money. So I don't understand how the NCAA will let, coaches have so much say in certain things.
First of all, with the NCAA, what would help if there was an actual code of points, not just this, well, this is how we feel about things. Like, there needs to be a written down NCAA code of points that people can turn to be like, okay, if you do this and you do this, this is these deductions. And I'm not saying that the NCAA code of points should be just the junior national code of points applied to it. No, there needs to be a totally separate set of rules, separate start values to skills, separate skill selections, way to earn bonus that makes sense for the NCAA that it doesn't for elite gymnastics. But they won't do that. Also, what needs to happen is, I know a lot. There just has to be a focus on difficulty in the NCAA. And I know the girls hate when we say that because they'd be like, but our bodies and this, that, and the third. And I get it. I wasn't a gymnast. I'm not even going to argue that point. It's just, at this point, it's like, Y'all did all this to get us to get y'all this NIL just for y'all to do 2 tumbling passes and the 2 tumbling passes to be a Rudy and a front layout front four. Like, no.
Yeah, Nisha, I really thought those vaults for all 3 of the stuck Yurchenko 1.5s were too low. But then I feel like it's still kind of evened out. So, Connor McClain's bars was a little too high for me.
But see, this is the thing for like a school like LSU, them being over, like it really. I'm not gonna say it doesn't matter because it does, but it's not so important. It's like when I feel like Alabama is being overscored ridiculously because now you're jumping Alabama from these couple of scores over Arkansas, who I feel like has been killing it this whole season, doing way better than I expected. And it's like Alabama's been underscored, but when you're losing, getting your ass kicked with 197s, but Auburn is winning with 196s. It has to be like the win-loss record has to matter somewhere in the NCAA. It has to. Like I get this whole NQIS shit, NQS, but we see who wins and we see who loses.
It's not enough meets for that to happen though. So that's the only thing. Like you look at women's basketball. When they're done in conference, it's almost 15 to 20 basketball meets within the SEC. So you very rarely are going to have ties amongst multiple teams. If you look at the standings right now, you're going to have multiple ties with people. So how do you do it by then? Because I'm for you, like you say, the win-loss record. If LSU and Oklahoma went out Friday, they'll both be tied at 7-1. But the tiebreaker will go to LSU to be the regular season champs because they directly beat Oklahoma. So for that, you still have that part. You still have a regular season championship, which is based off a win-loss record. It's just when it comes to, since Oklahoma joined this conference and they didn't put in place a better system, it's only going to be 4-4 each meet. So then they're doing it based off of NQS. NQS used to be RQS. It's always been like that. When it was Super 6, when it was AAI, it's always been based off of your scores. Now, would you prefer them use every meet, Michaela, throughout the season? And then say at the gymnastics is different from basketball, So when you ranking a basketball team, you're not ranking them based off of they scored 75 points compared to beating the other team who had 69.
You have to do something because, okay, so
how would you do it? Because, I'm all for changes, but
I'm not sure. I will think about it. I will think about it and talk about it at another time. My name ain't Frederick Richards. I'm not just going to be like, hey, let's come up with a new leotard. We don't even follow into the NCAA rules. So I will think about it. But I will say that you can't tell me Arkansas is the last ranked team in the SEC when they've beaten teams that beat Alabama.
They beat LSU and Florida.
So you can't tell me that
they didn't beat them. They won the meet, yes, but they won with low 196s.
And that's where that's on the judges because I just.
But also, they won the meet, yes. That's what I do like about NCAA compared to Elite. because you have these type of things. It's college sports. You have upsets, and everyone loves upsets in sports. The underdog, yes, they won. The supposedly not talented, not as talented, to
Or
me.
or this. Maybe the NQS will make a lot more sense to me if they use every score. Because all you're doing is making an average, right? So if you could average 6 scores and drop a high and low, you could average all 13 scores and drop a high and low.
Yeah, because if they have 13 regular season meets, I would just do the best 10, something like that. Even amount of number, get your first month out kinks, and drop the first 3, and call it a day. I wouldn't even say drop the hot lowest 3. I would just drop the first 3, and then keep the rest of the 10.
But see, for like Arkansas,
but it still wouldn't.
Even when it was correct, because even with Arkansas, even when they did beat Florida, even when they did beat LSU, they only beat them with like a 197 and like a low 197. Whereas
no, they beat
Alabama
LSU with a 196. They had a 196.8 something, and LSU had a 196.6 something. So they are last place because of their scores, and that's how it always been, But also Arkansas has been losing. So, they've been losing other meets to lower ranked teams too. Arkansas lost to Georgia. So if
Georgia is a higher ranked team than them, so but
they lower ranked than Florida and LSU. So it kind of like evens out when it comes to the playing field of the win-loss record, but I don't know another system that's better. And until someone definitively say, well, it needs to be win-loss.
Maybe they should do like they do in what was it? Is it figure skating? Where they do percentages, where they do like you lose 50% of your NQS and 50% of your win-loss record.
Because I know you sleeping. I know you sleeping, sis, and you're ready to get off. But I haven't seen your face and talked to you in so long. But if it's not about scores, then what is it about? Because even if I'm not mistaken, even the elite stuff, you qualify for stuff based on scores, not based on win-loss.
I don't like that in the elite system either. So,
because what are you talking about?
Because
who was that? That was Catherine, wasn't she? When I was texting you about for the Winter Cup, you needed a certain score, like a 52 in the all-around to qualify for whatever. And if not enough of the gymnasts did it, then they would drop the qualifying score and stuff. So it looked like in gymnastics, your score matters more than if you win or lose.
Which is on an individual basis, yes. But when it comes to a team, and that's where I don't like it for the incident. When it comes to a team, it's always based on who wins and who loses, and you drop those scores and you start over. And I get it. NCAA isn't elite gymnastics, and there has to be some way to make it fair. And again, you can beat a team and you have a great night and they have an off night and you get a 196 and they score a 195. But then the next week, that great team that you just beat scores a 198. Doesn't that mean they're a better team than your team? Yes, but that loss has to mean something too.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
And then it's off because Jay Clark has said for years, you're competing against the whole country. So even though tonight we're going against Georgia and we scored a 198, and then you got Oklahoma over here scoring a high 197 or a lower 198, but it's not the same because then you got to cross the country in California. UCLA scoring a 197 too, with a totally different set of judges. So it's like, and then places have always,
that's the other.
places have always said the
That's,
SEC scoring is too high. The Pac-12 scoring has always been high compared to the Big 10 and the Big 12.
Just look at the rankings. Like, I'm so sorry. Michigan, even though I'm saying Michigan State has fallen off, they haven't fallen. Like, Michigan State is still a better team than most of the teams in the SEC. It's just Michigan State can't score what they are scoring in the SEC, and that has to be addressed. Like, why do the SEC teams score so high compared to everybody else? The SEC teams are the only teams in the country other than UCLA with 198 scores to count to their NQS, and these are mostly home scores. So it's especially Florida, and Florida is my team, but I'm going to call them out. Like, there is no way they should be having 3 198 scores.
Yeah. But then people were talking about, I don't know who it was that was talking about, I don't know if it was Nisha, if it was people in Addicts chat yesterday. They were like, Michigan State was that us in our chat on Instagram? That Michigan State, we don't see it for them. And they have regressed because they have the exact same team as last year with some great freshmen, and they totally don't impress like they did last year. They've added people.
Michigan State.
I feel like I'm the same way, Nisha. I feel like the SEC have the better athletes.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I feel like
because you got Gabby Stevens, Skylar Schulte, Nikki Smith. Nikki Smith doesn't look like herself when she's out there. They bet, if you won't ask me, their best gymnast look like it's Sage Kellerman this year. And she wasn't known but only a vault last year. And she's like their highest scorer now, That's what I say. This is just a regression as a whole. And I don't know if that has to do with the scoring, but I just feel like you're going to score. If you're going to do what you're going to do, you're going to score. It hasn't stopped Jay Carey from scoring. It hasn't stopped Jordan. I understand they're the status quo of the elites of the elites. But, Denver. Denver was this close to making nationals last year, the year before they made it. And it's just like this year, they barely scraping out 196s.
I think but see, I think a lot of teams should be scoring lower. I don't think these 190.
And you gotta really think about it. The SEC, with the exception really of the top 3, everybody else's NQSs are like low 197s. Other than the top 3 in Missouri, everybody else's RQS is like 197.0 something. That's really just a 985 average. Mm-hmm. And you mean to tell me Michigan State can't average a 9.85? I don't think that has to do with the SEC or the Big Ten or in the scoring. I don't think it has to do with the capability of the gymnasts and the coaches. Because Michigan State was scoring 198s last year with these same girls.
If you watch a Minnesota meet, if you watch a Michigan State meet, they're not doing any better or any worse than Kentucky or Missouri, but they score way less than them doing the exact same shit. The exact same form errors, the exact same messed up bar routines, the exact same steps on beams, the exact same bent knees, the exact same flex feet, the exact same weak tumbling but dancing on floor.
I say that is because they're not there. it's not like what I'm saying, Michaela, is it's not like Michigan State is just being holes on on scores when they are right with Oklahoma, with Missouri. Missouri is 6th in the nation. Kentucky is 7th. Michigan State is 8th. Georgia is 9th. So it's not like they're out of the realm. I would say that if Michigan State was like 15th or 20th.
I gotta find this vault. Michigan State had this girl in this meet do a perfectly stuck Yurchenko 1.5, and they gave this girl a 9.75. I have to find this vault.
Please find it and send it to the chat.
But that's just the kind of shit I'm talking about with Michigan State. Like, they do that shit to their asses all the time, and it just makes no sense.
You know?
Whereas
and
SEC,
I love Michigan State. I love how that program is.
I truly feel like if Michigan State and their program was in the SEC, they would be ranked ahead of Florida. That's how underscored they are over there in the Big Ten that they are to me.
But they were supposed to beat you. I don't know, Michaela. I don't know, because Michigan State was scoring 198s last year. And they had one bad regional meet in Utah, and Florida just whooped them. But they were scoring 198s last year. And then just look at like the first, it just seemed like we almost at the end of the season. But I can remember us being on the call and Oscar talking about how the hell did that Lori girl get enough to beat Michigan State the first week. And then a couple weeks ago, they were leading UCLA by a lot and just gave it away. You know? The judging was kind of tough yesterday, but they still scored a 197 and barely lost the Cal. But I'm like, they're not consistent enough.
State is not I'm not trying to argue. If y'all think I'm arguing that they're consistent, no, I'm just saying they're just as inconsistent as Kentucky. Yeah. Missouri is more consistent. This is why they're ranked so high to me. They're way more consistent. But I would put MC State and Kentucky same level. They do the exact same shit. Mm-hmm. They're great vaulters, great floor workers. Beam and bars suck. Beam and bars suck. But Shayna, I'm for the end this show.
Well, you gotta go to work tonight, sis. So I'm going to bed, girl.
I'm for the end this show. I'm for to get an hour and a half nap in, and then get up and go to work.
What time you have to be to work?
11, but I'm going to leave my house in 2 hours, though. So,
well, y'all let me know when we can do a full show if y'all want to do one Thursday.
Try. Definitely Wednesday or Thursday. Be on the lookout because I'm for that. Be harassing y'all to do a full show.
Yeah, I can do one Thursday. I don't have anything planned. Definitely can't Friday. It's the last week of the weekend, so I will definitely be trying to get my gymnastics in. But I'll also work both of my jobs Friday, so I'll try to get it in. And then Saturday I work, and then Sunday I'm off. So yeah,
we'll work it out. No pressure to nobody. Oscar is still in California on his vacation.
I love that for him.
We did a show. We did a show with everybody but Oscar. So yeah. Rewatch it. I love you all. See you all later on in the week.
Bye.
Thank you, Shayna. Bye, everybody.